We are no longer posting any of your content because Peter Rosenberg is being disrespectful and he's bullying us during Black History Month. Signed, the boss, Jason.
Peter Rosenberg might think he runs NY Hip Hop Radio, but trust, plenty of people have checked him when he crossed the line. We're breaking down the moments when Rosenberg got schooled and had to humble himself real quick. Whether he was playing gatekeeper or talking slick, these moments show he isn't always the loudest voice in the room. You don't want to miss these clapbacks and call-outs. So grab a snack, cause these are the times guests schooled Hot 97's Peter Rosenberg. DJ Akademiks. Peter Rosenberg and Akademiks have been going at it for a minute, exchanging shots online. Rosenberg called Ak a talentless hack, setting off a war of words. Akademiks clapped back hard, calling Rosenberg out while completely violating him on the live stream. Ak also mocked Rosenberg for being stuck on traditional media while he's thriving in the digital streets.
Here's the last conversation I had with you, Peter Rosenberg, when you thought I was pussy and you was like, yo, Ak, oh, yo, you only talk on the internet, this and third. And I hit you up and I said, if you really think I'm scared of you, we could meet up in box. I'm not doing it on no celebrity thing. I'm not getting you $1. Talking about YouTube and whatever. 97 go out of business, you broke. Come on. I made more of 1 year of YouTube you made your whole career. Made more of this Spotify than you made your whole career. I'm sorry. They don't with you. I'm the sorry, I've been sunning the like you. Stop playing with me, boy. You a little bro, but I'll sun you right now. I try to keep this. Listen, with a copping, please. I try to keep all of this to my dog. I try to keep it to myself. I don't want to expose you like this. Because, bro, you just basically was saying, Ak, I'm not about that type of whatever, this, that, and third. I shit on you every type of way. I told you, like, you a bum. I'm telling you that you work 3 times longer than me, and I'm telling you that I work probably 1/5 of what you ever did, and I'm still way more lit. You can't with me, no capacity. Doesn't matter. It's big Ak. Everybody know the Vibras. You can't say you need to pay homage or shut the up when my name is mentioned. That's a fact. I told you we could meet up and scrap. It's cool. Privately, we could get it in. Nobody has to know. If you claim that I'm so pussy because you say you sold me a complex and I wasn't trying to do whatever, we could meet up. Let's box. I will beat the brakes off of you, Lil. Didn't want to do it. I ain't got no interest to fight. Look, I have an interest in taking advantage of your platform. Sucker. It's my platform, it's not yours. You. So you big up and help a woman doing positive in Chicago. Don't try to get on my side. That's dope. I ain't no bad person. I help people that do with me. But a like you gonna realize I never responded to this. Look, that's dope. But man, hip hop both giving us a lot. You was jealous from the get-go. You're a bum. I'm over here giving you the work. I'm sorry. Suck a. That's a fact. Here we go. Man, hip-hop and blah, 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 da-da-da-da. Look, you can tell me to go myself and then I'm hating. You really think I want what you have? Now he's talking because he's in his feelings. I done flexed on him. I flexed on him. I flexed on that little boy. So now he's looking like, I could never be Big Ak. Hot 97 don't got me on the pension plan like that. Hot 97 don't pay it off. I'm flexing on that bitch ass. We don't need Hot 97 to make a living. Shout out to all my bloggers. Shout out to all my Twitch streamers. There's on Twitch that make more money than anybody that work at Hot 97. Y'all suck a if you think I'm about to come bow down to none of y'all. I'm coming in, I'm flexing on y'all, violating y'all, telling y'all to suck a and y'all ain't gonna do shit about it because y'all don't control facts.
To add insult to injury, Ak got on Vlad TV and addressed the boxing situation again, but takes it a step further and bashes Rosenberg for his ex-wife leaving him. Think it's safe to say Rosenberg got destroyed on this one.
But some people, especially when the likes of like Rosenberg, they try to hop on that, oh, Ak is just this soft ass who is like quivering when he sees humans. So he said that and I'm like, brother, are you serious? So anyway, I called him out to box, hit him up privately. I said, yo, you know what? You clearly think I'm something that I'm not. I said, let's set up a private boxing match. Nobody has to know. No filming, no nothing. Get a ring, whatever. All DMs, like nothing comes out. Because he also went on a rant on Instagram about me. I'm like, let's just do it. You know what I mean? Whatever, we could just handle it privately. This dude sent me a whole novel, like one of them Harry Potter books, bro, in my DM. no, I don't want to fight. Actually, in reality, you know, I heard some comments you said that I was jealous of you, and I'm not jealous, even though I know you're like, it was crying to me like a hoe. So I'm like, yo, man, just get out my DMs, bro. Like, you keep saying stuff about me when I don't start with you guys.
Yeah.
But you guys are trying to like the industry doesn't change. Y'all can't bully me no more. So again, he didn't want to, we could have handled some whatever he wanted to do physically, don't want to do it. Now he's online just saying all type of stuff. So when recently there was some audio taken out of context, they put it up. He's jumping in there like gassing it. These got ramifications now, you know what I mean? Vlad, you might let people let certain shit slide with you. You're not gonna play with me like that. So as soon as I've seen he's jumping on some stuff that's very hurtful and detrimental to my character, something that's completely false, has painted me in a light that is not me. Now I gotta go on the offensive because I know a bunch of stuff about you. And I do know your wife definitely left you for some who was working in the mailroom, okay? And Vlad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like, yo, listen, it's not my fault. I'm like, you focus on the wrong black man. Like, to do slanging BBC on your ex-wife, like, you need to go handle that.
DJ Vlad. Rosenberg tried to come for Vlad, questioning how much he pays his guests by dropping this tweet. But Vlad wasn't having it. He schooled Rosenberg by pointing out that he's out here building his own empire, with bags coming in from everywhere, while Rosenberg is still dependent on Hot 97 to keep his name buzzing.
Someone sent me this. Peter Rosenberg put up a story where he said, if you pay for interviews and are behind the camera, you shouldn't be on a rap list. You should be on a narc list or something. And I'm like, this bitch ass don't even want to say my name, huh? Fuck him. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're never on anyone's list ever on any level. And if you lost your job.
Rosenberg sat down for a podcast and brought up the interview, but wasn't really aware of what was said between Ak and Vlad.
And you went on social media for a moment, just for a moment. And the headline you saw was DJ Vlad tells Akademiks, Peter Rosenberg is a pussy ass parentheses, part 26. Does that mean when it says part 26, does that mean of his overall series of Akademiks, or he did 26 parts talking about how I'm a pussy ass?
No, I think it's 26 parts with Akademiks.
Got it.
And maybe more, but that's the part you were on.
I made it to 26. Now, Saif, you clicked it and watched some?
I did. Now, you haven't watched it yet.
Right.
Okay. I should have assumed that because you kind of just sent it and didn't say anything.
I think I wrote, oh no.
Yeah, you did. So if I was you, I wouldn't watch it. I know you're going to.
Why do you know? Why do you know I'm going to?
Well, because I know you very well.
You think eventually I'm going to go, all right, I got to see what the fuck's going on.
This is one of the worst trashings I've ever heard somebody do to you.
Really? The first time I met the first time I met the walking emblem of culture vulture.
Wait, is this Patreon?
No, is this Patreon? We good. I've told you the story. I've told everyone the story. All of our listeners know this story. The man asked me, he was like, yo, man, we should do some work together. You just got to give me your YouTube login and password. And, we should do some stuff. And I was like, yo, bro, get the out of my face. From that moment on, I knew this is the stereotypes they have of our people. This is it.
It didn't stop there, though. Vlad really comes down on Rosenberg and gives him the schooling of a lifetime.
Listen, the fact that he's clowning that I pay for interviews because I'm a entrepreneur and I've built a multi-million-dollar a year business over 16 years when all you've done is collect a paycheck? Have you lost your mind? We are not even in the same conversation on any level. You can't stand next to me. You're not viewed on the same level as I am because you're too scared. You're too much of a pussy to actually quit that job and believe in yourself. What you said is absolutely right. I remember, I think Elliot said the same thing. He said that Juan Epstein was the original podcast and he was the original guest. And look, all these years later, that podcast is just a footnote in history. It's not mentioned in one of the great podcasts. It's not mentioned in one of, because You're too much of a coward. You're too much of a coward to quit your job and say, I believe in myself, because you don't really believe in yourself. That's why. You're not a man that actually believes in his own abilities. You know that you need to go to work every day and collect that paycheck while everyone else chases their dreams. So don't take little shots at me, bro.
Jay Electronica. The tension between Peter Rosenberg and Jay Electronica boiled over when Rosenberg criticized Jay Electronica's lyrical content, calling out what he viewed as anti-Semitic themes in one of his songs. As a Jew, it puts me in a bad position. I can either ignore my discomfort and sell out my culture, or be accused of being the Jewish media hating on this man.
Yeah, I went on Twitter on Saturday, and I at first I was like, oh, should I say this? I don't want to. And then I said, well, if I feel a way about this, and I know other people feel a way about this, why should I just be quiet about it? Especially in a time when there's a lot of, Ebro, we have seen, a lot of active hatred, negative energy towards Jews. I should just be quiet because I speak up if it's about any other group. Why would I not speak up about my own group?
Talk your truth, my G.
Now you've had other Jews reach out to you and be like, yo, that they felt a certain way and they just weren't comfortable being public about it?
Correct. I had many people reach out to me and feel that way, and I already felt that way. The day I drove to work listening to it, I was like, oh, here we go with this ish. So, I was offended by him referring to the synagogue of Satan, and then another reference to Israel sounding like Satan, and I expressed it on Twitter and said I didn't like it and didn't like how it felt, and then Jay came for me aggressively. Didn't exactly say, hey, we should have a dialogue about this. I think you're misunderstanding me. It was more like STFU, as if I shouldn't even have the right to feel a way.
Jay Electronica wasn't having it though. He hit back on Twitter, dragging Rosenberg for being out of touch with the deeper messages in his music and accusing him of trying to police hip-hop content without understanding the culture's roots. Jay even challenged Rosenberg to a public debate, flipping the script and schooling him on the importance of freedom of expression in hip-hop by tweeting back, if you really want to get into it, we are willing to hold a discussion in a public forum about the synagogue of Satan and its meaning with any scholars of theology you'd like to bring. Until then, STFU. They went back and forth on Twitter, but Jay had the last words, saying that he stands on everything he said on the entire album. Joe Budden. We all know these two have had a long history, and there have been many altercations over the years. Like this time, when Peter had hurt feelings because of these things Budden has done during their so-called friendship.
I treat people bad that care about me.
Yes.
That's Peter's sentiment.
You heard that. That is, I feel very strongly about that. And you're not the only person I know like that. You push people away. The people who really love you, it kind of
like Peter and Marissa.
Yes.
You don't shut the f up.
Bro, I've
Rosenberg publicly spewed some hate towards Budden at one point for his placement on the podcast charts compared to the Joe Budden podcast.
There are jabroni shows out there that are ranked higher than us because their people review it more often and more regularly and more recently, and they have new subscribers. And 1F should not be hovering. Listen, I don't care. That's why I haven't mentioned it because we don't look at it very much anymore. But as we make this push, 1F shouldn't be 50th on the podcast, music podcast. I'm not going to live 49 spots below Joe Budden. That I know he's a very compelling guy, but give me a break. What the f*** is Joe saying? The 49 spots more interesting than what we're doing on 1F. If he's yelling louder, yeah, he's a loud yeller.
Yeah. That's it. And that's like, man. Shout out to them, man.
That's me. By the way, that's it.
Yeah, be clear. Wait. Hold on for 2 seconds. Audience listening and viewing. Can I promise you that there will not be shots fired at some of these fraudulent podcasters? All right? Because I'm with the podcast for once. I keep saying it. That's him.
Even though on this specific episode, he didn't really go off the rails on Rosenberg, he sure took the time in another episode. Joe touched base on a lot of these altercations and flat out said they weren't friends in an 18-minute bashing of Rosenberg. Here's some highlights.
With last week, right, I told a story about how I was in my car listening to ESPN radio and I heard Pete Rosenberg alongside his co-hosts Don LaGreca and Michael Kay, two Trump supporters, I heard him interrupt his Yankee broadcast, because that's what they were talking about, to break the news that Triple X had died to his audience that was not a hip-hop audience. But he prefaced it by letting us know that he is a hip-hop journalist, so that's why he had to do it. And when these gentlemen were saddened by the news, they said, oh man, that's horrible. Who was this young man? The first thing that Pete Rosenberg said was, well, he was no angel. And I was upset about that last week. So I called him out on it, on my podcast, right? I want to use this as a teachable moment for all. First of all, I want to say, I heard a lot of people saying, damn, Joe, it's fucked up, man. You should have called him. Let me clear something up for you people out there. No, I shouldn't have. That line is so overrated in the culture. Yo, you should have called him. I never want to talk to these people on the phone.
I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone.
Yeah, why would I don't even want to talk to my friends on the phone? And why should I have called Pete? Who the is Pete Rosenberg for me to call him? Why? We're not friends. And I think that's the part that's lesson number one. Friendship in this industry, right? It's weird. It takes a lot of people to really come to grips with what friendship in this industry really means. For me, what it means is what it means. I go by the context of the English language. I don't deal with seasonal relationships. My people are my people. I can count my friends probably on two hands. I say all that to say, no disrespect to mine and Pete Rosenberg's relationship, but we're not friends. I'm not calling him when I hear him say some stupid on the radio. It's very, very few people I will call when that happens. Let me give you some background here. Pete Rosenberg, and this is all my opinion, has harbored quite a few resentments toward Joe Budden for quite some time, right? We're going to use all of Pete's character defects to just be a really teachable moment. So let's continue. So he's got a resentment for that. He's got a resentment about how I handled the Marissa Mendez firing from this podcast. If you need more backstory, there's a really awkward interview on Hot 97 that I did about the whole matter with him and Ebro and all that. And that was the last radio interview I was ever going to do, right? So I say that to say, Pete is a pretty sensitive guy who already feels a way toward Joe Budden about some things. Oh, he also feels like he should be credited for the success of this podcast somehow. He's even tweeted that. And just in case I was mistaken, right? If maybe you did that in a moment of passion and confusion on your little complex show where you write monologues that's super trash that nobody cares about, you went and echoed the same exact sentiment of he was no angel. That's a real bad habit we got in this culture today where people just refuse to admit a wrong. Gotta be careful to not become the very thing we're against, Pete. You run right to your little socials and not only attempt to defame my character, you then insult the people that listen to this podcast. Cigarette and syringe emojis? Ooh, how did you feel inside? You're not telling me that because you are an emotional little man inside, you're using your platforms to just not be credible anymore. So now you're not believable because you've been called on a mistake? Pete Rosenberg? Memory, those that forget, doomed to repeat. I think you've forgotten a few things here, Pete. So I just want this to be a reminder for you, because it then took you a whole week to turn around and say, yo, I was wrong. Hey, guess what? Sometimes wrong is just wrong, Pete. You got the nerve to run the Ebro so Ebro can massage your little vagina. And then, oh, did he give that vagina a nice little massage? And you came back to Twitter feeling manly again. You were feeling macho.
Funkmaster Flex. Rosenberg has also made some problems in his own environment when he decided to call out a fellow Hot 97 voice and legendary radio personality, Funkmaster Flex. Rosenberg called out Flex for hyping up a fake beef between Travis Scott and A$AP Rocky.
Yesterday he was on Twitter. He had time yesterday. He said a bunch of rappers stole A$AP Rocky swag. They think they're slick. Next thing you know, he's like, oh, you want names? First name, Travis Scott. Who else y'all think? So he just kept going off. And
so Flex had Travis.
Yeah, Flex said Travis. But on the tweet that said a bunch of rappers stole A$AP Rocky swag, think they're slick, A$AP Rocky retweets that. He wrote Flacco fact.
Okay.
And then afterwards is when he started coming at Travis Scott.
When after Flex started going to Travis Scott.
Yeah, but Flacco just retweeted his original tweet of a bunch of rappers stole A$AP Rocky swag.
But Rocky wasn't necessarily talking about Travis.
No, in fact, he probably wasn't.
No.
As far as I know, I don't know that they've ever had any issue.
I probably was.
So the maybe I have no reason to know that.
Cash, you say probably was.
Well, I mean, it depends how you take it, because it is true that a lot of people have not his rapping style, but his look.
His fashion
style. Now, rapping styles Travis Scott did not.
Well, and by the way, no one
rapping thing from.
And by the way,
Rocky.
And by the way, and first of all, it's true. Flacco is an underrated sort of icon who has been copied a lot. But also, him and Travis should relate, because no one's jacked anyone's music more than Travis been jacked. Travis been jacked
Facts.
by everyone musically. So the reason it bothered me, Ebro, is just like Flex, just to like get conversation going on his Instagram, is like basically trying to create a divide between two awesome, important, great artists. Like, I just didn't understand the point of it. But in order to get a good conversation on his Instagram, he's willing to start making problems in real life within important artists in the culture to like make his gram hot. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to think that's good?
But Flex didn't let that slide, clowning Rosenberg and reminding him that Flex built New York radio, while Rosenberg was just an intern. He even sunned Rosenberg by calling him his son, reminding him who really holds the crown at Hot 97.
For you, Mr. Rosenberg, to speak in that morning on a hip-hop show, I want to start by saying that. Not me, but them. And when Father's Day comes around this year, you should make sure you send me a Father's Day card, because you are my son. But you know what I don't respect about you? You say you're about the culture and you're about the music, but you don't even show up for your own radio show on Sunday night to play them records that you say, that culture that you love. If you love it so much, show up and play the music. But nah, the culture that you scream. You know what culture you scream? I'm gonna tell you what it is. You scream that culture and you're used to putting your name on something and not doing the work. That's what you do on Sunday night. And I peep you, and I lost respect for you when you say you about this culture and this music, because you ain't. The day you feel you can question me, being where you're from, Chevy Chase, Maryland, from the Thesma High School, graduated in 98, you ain't got no word in this city. It's my city. Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke. You know why? Because you don't work hard as me, bruh. You're a sidekick in this city. Sidekick in the morning, sidekick on your own show. On Complex, you look like a sidekick. Tell Complex to cut me a check tomorrow, because I made you madder tonight.
Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne. When Rosenberg dissed Nicki's Starships at summerjam, she wasn't feeling it and dipped from the show, along with the members of Young Money.
Weekday morning, if you have a job, if you go to school, you wake up, check us out. Now hold on, before I get to the real hip-hop of the day, because I see the real hip-hop heads sprinkled in here, I see them. I know there's some chicks here waiting to sing Starships later. I'm not talking to y'all right now. That bullshit. I'm here to talk about real hip-hop. People are here to see A$AP Rocky today. People are here to see Schoolboy Q on this stage. That's the shit I represent.
When they finally met face to face, Nicki made it clear she wasn't there for Rosenberg's jokes or opinions. She told him straight up that he wasn't funny or smart and questioned what he even knew about hip hop. Nicki wasn't playing.
You know what? Like, I get it. Like, that's what you do. I guess to me, I just don't know your resume. You know what I'm saying? So I never found you funny. I never found you entertaining. I never found you smart. I just found you annoying because, you know, I grew up in New York. Well, I've grown up on Hot 97, like, you know what I'm saying? And I know Angie and I know Flex and Mr. C and all these people. And whether they like me or whether or not we get along, I just know their resume. So that's why it was so easy for me to pick up the phone and talk to Flex and be like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? But like with you, I was just like, who are you? To me, you don't have enough of a resume to make those comments, but you know, you did, and it is what it is. For whatever reason, our paths were meant to cross like that. I am not your typical rapper. I am not your typical person. I just did the biggest TV show in America, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, you guys, but I appreciate the fact that you see me as an MC because that's what I do and that's who I am. People try not to give me my credit, but I really do this. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, when I step out and do a pop song, it's like, damn, Nick, really? Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people are disappointed by that, and I totally get it. I don't judge you. I'm not mad at people if they don't like it, but I wanted to experiment. My whole career has been almost just like a playing field for me to try new things. I never put a limit on myself. And I don't like when, especially black women, put a limit on what they can do. You should be able to try whatever the hell you want to try, as long as you're keeping your integrity.
After Rosenberg took shots at Starships, Lil Wayne stood up for Nicki by pulling her from Summerjam along with Young Money. Weezy didn't hold back, calling out Rosenberg for disrespecting a female artist.
You know, you had to make an executive decision all about respect, you know. Just break it down to people. What were you thinking as an executive?
First of all, I approach the situation like this. That's a female. First and foremost, Nicki Minaj is a female. I don't know what anyone else believes, but I believe females deserve the ultimate respect at all times, no matter what, when, or where, or how. And so as soon as she called me and told me she felt disrespected, I just declined everything. I pulled her from the show because first of all, no person that works with me, because no one works for me. No person that works with me will be disrespected in my presence as long as I'm on this planet. And like I said, she's a female first and foremost, so I expect the red carpet. I mean, in her manner, the pink carpet to be laid out for her. You know what I mean? But you know, just like you said, and like I said, it's just an executive move. No bad feelings, no hard feelings. It's just, like I said, in my opinion, she said she was disrespected. That's a woman. I feel like a woman's supposed to be respected at all times. Therefore, I believe I made the right decision.
Chuck D. After the whole Nicki Minaj incident, Chuck D was upset with Rosenberg and all of Hot 97 for that matter. When Rosenberg tried to claim that hip-hop was losing its roots, Chuck D, a certified legend, put him in his place. Chuck reminded Rosenberg that he ain't the one to tell the culture where it should be headed. Rosenberg had to hold that L from one of the GOATs.
The word sloppy, maybe it hurts more. We're at a time where black has become a curse word and is all right. When did that all of a sudden become the one-word anthem for black people? Reverse your thinking. I ain't trying to change the world with that. It's the behavior, the endorsement, and financing behind it. So all I said, you are not going to have 4 hours in a stadium because you're where hip-hop lives, where everybody's spitting the word and nothing else to a half a stadium full of white folk. You're not doing that in New York. And if you think it's all right, that fight the power ain't your fight. I want to see their owners and make it uncomfortable when they in the breakfast table, drinking their coffee, gulping on that shit and spitting it out. Oop, or the problem with the Negroes. Twitter and John Wayne. Cause I'm black and I'm...
Jason Lee. When Rosenberg tried to dismiss Jason Lee's influence in hip-hop and pop culture media, Lee wasn't having it. He schooled Rosenberg on Drink Champs, letting the world know what he really thought of the Hot 97 host.
Peter Rosenberg hits me.
Really?
And goes,
that had a question for me?
No, he ain't.
I know he ain't got a question for me.
All right. So he goes,
let me take my glasses off.
So he goes, which I didn't know. Because even when I Googled you, that didn't pop up.
Oh, yeah.
Like that y'all have problems.
Well, because he's not important. So, I mean, here's the deal, right? You Google me, you see my interview with Ye, 3 billion impressions.
Yes.
You know, you see maybe me hanging out with Rihanna, she's a god. You see me, I mean, all the people that I associate with are relevant.
Okay.
Peter Rosenberg, a privileged ass white boy who grew up in the suburbs, got a job talking about hip hop and became some guru that knows hip hop songs. You're not black. And you know the problem that I have with Peter Rosenberg, before we get into all the details, because I got all the TS, put all the screenshots because I didn't know where you was gonna go today. You know what's so crazy? I've looked at this in his face and told him he was full of shit. Why are you playing around on my playground? The internet is my playground. I can make him my boy, because the problem now that he has a problem with me, is that now all the little shit he ever did, if he ever wore a skirt, if he ever let some other, whatever he's ever done is going to come out. Why get in a fight with me? I'm the Floyd Mayweather of the internet. But see, what happened was he chose one day to wake up in his tired ass bed with his tired ass life, looking at his stupid ass dog on his way to his tired ass job. Hot 97 ain't been hot since 97. And you know what's crazy? Hold on, you know what's crazy?
You know what's crazy? We never had a dog this before.
You know what's crazy?
The man just the dog.
But you know what's crazy? I be
The dog didn't do anything to anybody, bro.
But go ahead.
That dog.
Jason took it to the next level. He went off saying, Peter Rosenberg, a privileged ass boy who grew up in the suburbs, got a job talking about hip hop and became some guru that knows hip hop songs. You're not black? He continued to blast Hot 97 as a whole afterwards.
What I like about you is immediately you said, but you gave him your platform to talk on. And this is not the first time I've seen you.
That he would have him on his platform.
have a discrepancy.
That was dope. That's dope.
Like, this is not the first time I've seen you say that. Like, you have a discrepancy with somebody and then say, you know what, I'll invite you on my platform.
Yeah.
Now, is that solely because you can control the atmosphere, or is that because you feel everyone deserves a voice to speak?
Well, two. I mean, both. One, I've already been on their show and it was lame and it was boring. And they're lazy journalists. And honestly, like, I'm never going back to that show. It's trash. And I don't need it because I beat Hot 97 in the numbers on social media. I beat Peter Rosenberg in numbers on social media, my impressions, my interviews. I don't know the last time any interview they did got 3 billion impressions. I'm waiting for them to show me. But, you know, back to Peter Rosenberg, we can talk about the lazy suburban brat. Okay, he said that, what did he say? He said that when I interviewed on their show, he said our culture. Our culture. Let's talk about appropriation, cultural appropriation, because I think they let this white boy sit up there with privilege for way too long. What the mean our culture? We don't share this with you. You don't get a job and then all of a sudden it's your culture. You can be a part of it, but to put me and him in the same conversation, I went and looked at his Wikipedia today. By the way, it's very, very dry. All it says is he plays in WWE and has a radio show.
Lee hit Rosenberg with the harsh truth. The game has changed, and media is no longer defined by old institutions. It can now be run by those who create their own lanes.
Him to try to paint this narrative on me is the same that white people do to black people all the time. But him gaslighting me on social media, he thought I was gonna stop. He followed me. He tried to DM me like a... I'm not doing that. You started online, now I'm gonna make you look like a fool. And that's exactly what he looked like.
Well, hopefully you and Peter Rosenberg can work it out.
Yeah, I hope you guys work it
No,
out.
there's no working it out.
I definitely wasn't ready for that.
There's no working out. I told Hot 97, I DM'd them, I said, dear management, we are no longer posting any of your content because Peter Rosenberg has been disrespectful and he's bullying us during Black History Month. Signed, the boss, Jason. I ain't Hot 97.
Rosenberg loves to act like he's got the final say, always throwing his opinions around like they're gospel. But time and time again, when the heavyweights of the culture step up, they put him back in his place. For someone who talks so much about hip-hop, he often gets humbled by the very artists and personalities who've lived and breathed it. In the end, Rosenberg might have the mic, but the culture has the last word. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Check out these other videos popping up if you want to see more content like this. Help us out by liking, sharing, and commenting. And make sure to subscribe if you're new here. We're dropping new content all the time, so hit that bell. Thanks for staying till the end, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.